Hi everyone and welcome to Science Lab. Science are happening because Jesus is coming. Every day we are looking at some of the great science that are happening around us. In this episode we are going to look at some of the great technological advancements in these last days.
It may be possible that the face of warfare might be changing. No longer will it be violent but technological. Every year, the director of NSA releases a document titled Worldwide Threat Assessment, which outlines the biggest threats to national security. Cybersecurity was first mentioned in 2011, and back then it was among the lower-ranked threats. The mere 2 years later, it became the #1 threat and has stayed there ever since.
The idea that hackers are wounded loners who lived in their parents' basement is a stereotype that has overgrown over time. Nation-states already have entire departments of national defense dedicated to fighting cybersecurity threats. But some nations don't just have defense, they also have cyber offense. Let's take a look at how some countries are using hacking on global stage.
In 2010, a new form of malware hit thousands of computers worldwide. The worm, called Stuxnet, was designed to target Windows computers running SCADA software. Developed by Siemens, SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition. It's used to control and manage power grids. The main objective for Stuxnet was to get computers which control the supply of power and begin systematically shutting down its PLCs or programmable logic controllers. Its end target was Iran's first nuclear enrichment facility, which was due to open that October 2010. These facilities are extremely well protected. They're not connected to the internet in such a way where one can simply download a bug. Getting into the plant was a matter of being brought in physically. The 500 kilobyte worm was dropped in Iran and scattered itself across the companies which designed PLCs. One such company was Bepaju, an engineering firm geographically centered around Iran's nuclear facilities. According to US federal code documents, the company was involved in illegal procurement activities in Iran. The bug kept spreading via USBs until it found itself in the hands of the workers of the targeted Iranian plant. 3 separate workers unknowingly infected the plant with the worm by connecting USB drives from external infected computers into the secure facility. In January of that year, inspectors from the International Atomic Energy Agency noted that the centrifuges which were used to enrich uranium were failing at abnormal rates. It was a complete mystery to the operators with no apparent root cause. 5 months later, a computer security company began investigating the random crashes and rebooting of computers across Iran. This would eventually lead to the discovery of Stuxnet worm, perhaps the world's first digital weapon, at least that we know of. But before the discovery, the worm had already begun working, systematically decreasing the reliability of the plant. In the space of a couple of months, 328 centrifuges went offline. The centrifuges kept shutting down one by one as if a sniper was taking them out. And in a way, that's exactly what was happening. By November 2010, that number had rose to 984 units offline. This hindered the nation's nuclear efforts, yet it was unclear how far the bug could have gone or what else that had planned. It's clear that such a sophisticated program, which passed under malware searches and the heavy security systems of nuclear facilities, was not the work of a lone wolf. This was a large group with funding and intricate knowledge of security system and nuclear processes. According to the Washington Post, unnamed U.S. officials have admitted that Stuxnet was a joint effort between the United States and Israel. The officials say that the program was first developed under Bush and continued under Obama. The program, codenamed Olympic Games, was initially never meant to be let into the wild, but as nuclear talks between the US and Iran hit the standstill, the ultra-sophisticated bomb was released. Yet, it's still unknown if it was a purposeful or accidental release. 2 years after Stuxnet in 2012, the world's worst hack ever seen had hit. It would be called Shamoon, and it would cripple a titan of industry and send shockwaves through the global economy. Saudi Aramco is an oil company owned by the government of Saudi Arabia. It supplies approximately 10% of the world's oil and is the world's most profitable company by a long shot. Their upcoming initial public offering will probably be the biggest in history. So this attack being strategically on the month of Ramadan, when most employers were in holiday. It took only a few hours to infect the 35,000 computers and begin to wipe and destroy their machines. The wiped out data was replaced by an image of a burning American flag. Saudi Aramco stopped moving. Computer technologies of Saudi Aramco began frantically ripping out cables from the back of computers across the world. They were doing all that they could to get the computers offline and stop the virus from spreading. Now, Saudi Aramco was dead silent, while the production processes were automated and the rest of their business was frozen. The network required to carry out transactions was simply no longer there. In a matter of hours, the world's most profitable company was thrown back into the Stone Ages. They had to refuse trucks from loading as there was no system to pay. Tanker trucks were backed up for kilometers in a standstill. Saudi Aramco even began using paper and pen as if it was in the 70s again. After 17 days, the company began giving away or to keep the Saudi economy flowing. To rectify the hack, the company hired an army of IT professionals. They sent people directly to manufacturing lines in Southeast Asia to buy as many hard drives as they could directly from production floors. Floods in Thailand had already hampered global hard drive suppliers, and now Saudi Aramco was buying everything that was left. This caused a ripple effect on the economy, and for several months people have to pay a premium for hard drives due to Saudi Aramco's single-handed increase in demand.
5 months after the attack, the company brought the system back online, and this time with far higher cybersecurity protection. The hackers, the creator of the Shamoon virus, at least according to official records, have been identified or caught. It's a strange and mysterious case. The ability to create such a sophisticated program and have no link back to the perpetrators is undoubtedly the work of an advanced funded group.
However, the group's motives are not clear. It was a specifically targeted attack, but on whom? On the Saudi government or Saudi Aramco itself? Or was that even the whole oil and gas industry? And what did that burning American flag mean? It was the only message left by the hackers. Perhaps we'll ever know. Jump to 2016, and the United States was in the middle of an election between Democrat Hillary Clinton and Republican Donald Trump. Both sides of the political spectrum seemed to be getting more radical. Polarization became the new buzzword used to describe the political climate. But one of the pivotal moments during her campaign's downfall came at the hands of her emails. Tens of thousands of Clinton emails were leaked through WikiLeaks. the Guccifer 2.0 persona, and DCLeaks.com. According to the CIA, the leaks of these emails came at the hands of the hacking groups Fancy Bear and Cozy Bear, which according to the US intelligence have been linked to Russia's intelligence agency, the GIU. Spear phishing is a cyber attack where phishing emails target individuals rather than random people in the general population. The Fancy Bear group was able to attack more than 300 individuals who were affiliated with the Clinton campaign through spear phishing attempts. Over the next few months, the emails were released at what seemed to be strategic times during the presidential run. It prompted people to think whether the emails are released by whistleblowers. The Democratic National Committee, or DNC, which governs the Democratic Party in the United States, was also hacked. The hacker groups the Fancy Bear and Cozy Bear held access to the DNC network for at least a year before beginning to leak the information from the inside. This caused the DNC's chairwoman to resign due to the leaked information. It's unclear how much of an effect this actually had on the outcome of the election. And while the US intelligence points the finger at Russia, was it really them? Are they not telling the truth? And there have been some commentators who believe that Russia's angle is a hoax. It might be possible that we may never know the truth behind who ordered the attacks. But the point remains, political ability of nation-states to alter electoral affairs of other nations is becoming something that the cyber age has brought to light. Previously, if the nation-states wanted to interfere with another nation, they would have to wage war using an inside double agent, or have a vast interconnected corrupt political network already established within that nation. Today, it could be possible with just a laptop and an internet connection.
And now it's time for the trivial question of the day. Which famous battery car company do you know?
Option A, BYD. Option B, Tesla. Option C, Porsche.
We'll find out the answer after a short break. To Science Lab. Science are happening because Jesus is coming. Before the break, I asked you the trivial question of the day. Which famous battery car company do you know?
Option A, BYD. Option B, Tesla. Option C, Porsche.
By now, everyone might have heard of Tesla. The company that has come up the most is Tesla. Love them or hate them, they were the pioneers of the latest iteration of the electric car. They forced innovation from industry old cars like Porsche or Jaguar, which is great. That isn't to mention their batteries used in industry settings such as balancing power grids.
In 2018, Elon Musk claimed something especially outlandish, a new battery that could last for over 1 million miles. Critics thought that it was impossible, but a new study may prove that it is possible and indeed is coming. In April of 2018, Elon claimed that Tesla would soon have a battery that can last for 1 million miles or about 1.6 million kilometers. After this amount of use, it will still have over 90% battery health remaining. To put that into context, that's 2 times the current lifespan of Tesla contemporary batteries. This could put electric cars in general in an interesting position. According to NBC News, a regular petrol car lasts for about 150,000 to 300,000 miles before something breaks that makes it not worth repairing. When you think about it, A regular petrol-powered car is actually pretty complicated. It needs regular maintenance to keep it operational, and it's unavoidable that some parts just wear out after a given amount of time. Problems like a slipping automatic gearbox or a blown head gasket can be expensive to repair and can take a car off the road permanently. Electric cars are much simpler, with the only major moving parts being the electric motor and usually a single-speed transmission. With these new batteries, this all means electric cars could last longer than their petrol counterparts. It goes further than this though. Electric vehicle batteries have much more life after being used up in the car. They can then be used in power management to support a grid, and after that lower and lower power consumption requirements until they can finally be recycled. With a battery with twice the state-of-art lifespan, this opens up to a whole new world of opportunities. Now, let's take a look at the battery itself. A physicist by the name of Jeff Dahn led the research of the new battery, which was vastly superior to any other lithium-ion battery previously seen. Jeff is already a leading expert in lithium-ion research. Him and his team at the Dalhousie University has an exclusive licensing agreement with Tesla. This suggests that this technology could appear in the company's cars. The details of the paper are pretty extensive. It includes a full cell design, including electrode compositions, electrolyte mixture, additives, and more. The team's results shows that these batteries can be charged and depleted more than 4,000 times, and after this, they only lose 10% of the original energy capacity. To put this into perspective, a 2014 paper showed that similar lithium-ion batteries lost half their capacity after only 1,000 cycles. According to the study headed by Jeff, which was published in September 2019, the 1 million mile figure is equivalent to 2 decades of in-grid energy storage. What's interesting though is that the authors of the paper don't herald this all as a new breakthrough. They present it as a benchmark for other battery researchers. This is the opposite to common practice.
Usually, battery designs are often a closely guarded secret within the EV industry. Providing this information to everyone aims to help other companies improve their own design for the future. He is acquired by the authors of the paper. Full details of the cells, including electrode compositions, electrode loadings, electrolyte compositions, additives used, etc., have been provided.
This has been done so that others can recreate these cells and use them as benchmarks for their own R&D efforts. I think this is a great news. This research was done to further the progress of battery technology, not just for one group, but as a whole for everyone, and I think that's a noble goal. Generally speaking, there's usually a trade-off between energy density and battery lifetime. If you want more of one, you get less of the other. Jeff's group was now responsible for doing the seemingly impossible. They overcame this trade-off. Now, you can have increased energy density and battery life. Interestingly, the materials used in the paper aren't new. The huge performance boost was achieved through a great deal of optimizing already common battery ingredients. They also tweaked the nanostructure of the battery's cathode to increase performance. A new nanostructure is less likely to develop cracks when the battery is charging. Cracks in the cathode material caused a decrease in the lifetime and performance of the battery. And this happens during repeated charging cycles. Basically, the new cathode and this new battery will be able to resist more wear at the time. Jeff Dahn estimates the most EV users is only about a quarter of a charge per day. But to make something like a fleet of robo-taxis or an empire of long-haul electric truck, Tesla would need a battery that can handle full discharge cycles each day. This can really make electric long-range or long-term transport of many kinds much more feasible. So with so many stories of battery research rapidly coming forward, it seems like we are in the start of a new age, an age different from the previous decade when battery technology stayed stagnant. Researchers at the University of Illinois in Chicago have made a new carbon dioxide battery to hold 7 times more charge than current lithium-ion methods. They published their findings in a journal of advanced materials. Never before in the history of humankind has the technology improved in this manner. Life has transformed into more than living. We are about to become one with technology.
What is foretold in the Bible is happening in our lifetime. This technological advancement shows that we are living in the last days. The Lord Jesus Christ is coming again very soon. Thank you for watching this episode. Don't forget to tune into the Science Lab next time.
Send us photos, videos, news and YouTube links which are worth sharing, and also send us your feedbacks to our email address sciencelab@angeltv.org. Suppose you have missed any of these episodes, don't worry. You can watch it again and again in our Science Lab YouTube page, but don't forget to like, share and comment on the video.
Ask your friends and relatives to watch the Science Lab so that they will know that we are living in the last days. Remember, signs are happening because Jesus is coming. Maranatha.